Let me hit the copyrighted music button.
I'm already on my way.
To prison?
Yes.
Straight to prison because of the new law.
Very topical, but I didn't come to the stream to talk about politics. Unsubbed.
Okay, is Aaron here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, since we're all here, let's have the recap of what happened last session and maybe a recap of what's been going on in general because it's been a minute.
We made it to town, and I introduced. What rank was he? He's not a count, but I keep thinking Count Chocula for some reason.
I think he's just a lord, isn't he?
Lord, that's right.
Yeah. He is the son of the vampire lord, basically.
I let him know about the way of the blazed
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
for mocking you, making you feel
Yes.
insulted.
Those impertinent maids.
Now we came back to town because I remember I really wanted us to head back to town.
Yeah, we were going back to town. I think we could just see, like we could just see the city. We hadn't
Yeah.
quite got in yet.
Yeah, you were around where the red square is.
Not one step backward. Different red square.
And you guys had just came from the guy's crypt
Mm-hmm.
where you had picked up this vampire guy and his entourage. And you were heading back to town. Nothing really eventful happened on the road exactly. Just Maybuz got very offended. And you found out that if he has a title, you're not sure what it is, but this vampire apparently has a taste for the finer things in life, and he enjoys simple things like smoking, and he is eager to try the cannabis that comes from the land of adventures. That is what I remember. Is there anything that you guys feel we need to add?
Not necessarily. Just wanted to reiterate how rude those maids were. But the Lord himself, he's an alright guy. And his seeking the cannabis.
Yeah, the stickiest of the ickiest.
He also seemed eager to see your castle one day, Maybuz.
Yes.
Off in your far off land.
Well, of course, it's a glorious place.
What does Serloon have anything to contribute? Do you remember anything that needs remembering?
Like me? Are you asking me?
Yes.
Kind of having a dumb moment right now. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Probably should get in contact with the the other guild friend and see what's going on with over there.
Which guild?
The friend the
Oh,
contact,
okay.
I guess.
Your guild friend.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if that is everything that needs to be brought up, then we can go ahead and get into the game. Let's go ahead, and if anyone has any pre-game actions they would like to take, for example,
2 more Sapro.
2 more Sapro. Okay, you're gonna make 2 more Sapro. And you're making that out of, what was it, radish?
Yes. We have a bag of radish with 23 radishes now.
Yeah.
Well, he made 2 more Sapro, so it is 21 radish.
Alright, 21.
Oh, no, it's turnip. It's turnips, not
that's
radish.
the one.
Oh, yeah. Turnips.
Or as I call it, Sapro Red.
Sapro. Sapro Red Ultralight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're about half a day out from the city. Everything's pretty quiet on the road. If you remember the horse, the carriages were pretty nice. Or the main carriage was pretty nice, where Saraloon and Emma were. The rest of you are in a more or less just a wagon, like a wagon that you would see from Oregon Trail. And it's been a little rough, but all in all, not bad. Maybuzz is riding his mount.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, oops. That's right. I have to be a Rocky.
Oh my gosh. That is not me, I swear.
I forgot I didn't change back.
wait, do all of you have access to all of your character
Apparently.
sheets?
Not our sheets, I don't think, but
Just the
I
names.
don't
for
think
some
it
reason.
No.
was pictures.
Oh.
Well, that's strange. Okay. Oh man, I have so many names I could choose from.
I'm gonna hand one to both of y'all because my inventory is full.
Alright.
Here, have a beer.
Yes.
It is alcoholic, as much as a light beer made
Can
out
be.
of turnip can be.
I'll just store it.
Okay, add one. What was it? How much did we say it restored? It restores up to your character level and item, so it would, I think, take down 15 fatigue. But let me double check.
It was a good amount.
You guys are level 5, so yeah, it reduces fatigue by 15. So just put Sapro minus 15 fatigue.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
And
I don't know when I'll ever drink this.
When you're tired.
when you're thirsty.
Yeah.
Saraloon, Emma has been keeping to herself, more or less. You did find out some stuff about her last time, that she does run a guild, but it is completely empty because it was just her and her college friends.
Mhm.
Uh, and that, as far as you know, she is completely alone. You guys can go ahead and give me a perception roll, all of you, if you would like.
Wow.
All right.
Terrible.
Right there.
East.
Okay, so none of you notice anything on the road. It seems pretty empty, and you haven't noticed any creatures or monsters running around. Seems like a just very boring ride. Mabas, you can give me I believe, a knowledge roll. Yeah, you know this is strange. You notice that it's strange that there's nothing. I mean, normally you would be seeing things like quill boars running around, which are just, the basic low-level boars. Or you would be seeing the um, neutral deer monsters. But besides the occasional scurry of like a squirrel or something, this place seems pretty empty. Not real sure where everything went, but if you look close, what you do see is just pretty far off the trail. You see some arrowheads stuck into the ground, just scattered around. If you would like, you can give me a. Go ahead and give me a. Man, the stats in this game are very, very. Give me an analyze.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, you see some arrowheads, or not just arrowheads, like arrows, arrow shafts, scattered. You know, there's 2 or 3, just on the ground, stuck out somewhere. It would be really hard to notice, but you were able to spot them out, just because a fluke, or you were just looking in the right space at the right time. But you you look at these and you notice that you're not you're not real sure how degradation might work in the way things are now. But from what you remember from the game, things like arrows and projectiles would end up fading, after, well, depending on what settings you had it on. For you, it would have, things like arrows and projectiles and ground clutter would fade after a minute or two.
Okay.
But you take a look at these arrowheads and you see, or these arrows, not just arrowheads, you see that they look like they've been there at least all day, or a few days maybe. And you look at one, there's a broken one on the ground that you see that just has, well, it looks like a little bit of congealed blood on it. Other than these arrows, place is empty. Nothing around.
How? So the blood looks to be about a day's old as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Strange. Things aren't repopulating as they should.
Repopulate. Oh, like respawning?
Yes. I also pointed at one random arrow, and these haven't been cleaned up.
Signs of battle? That's a thing? The zone's supposed to reset or something. Otherwise, there would be tons of this everywhere. Just scheme.
It seems this battle took place about a day ago.
You can reason that you came down an area similar to this when you were going to Trifle. You would hazard a guess that it would have happened some time after you got to Trifle, or in between, sometime after you passed it. Adgar doesn't seem very put off by this. He just looks up towards the maid that's driving the carriage, and she just says, she hasn't seen anything, and it's the wilds, so someone probably got in a fight.
Yeah.
You do know that this is kobold and goblin territory because you've encountered both. I will let that knowledge roll hold up, Maybuzz, and I will say that you do recognize these arrows as you see 2 kobold arrows. You see a couple of crossbow bolts too. See about 2 kobold arrows, a handful of just unidentifiable crossbow bolts, and some goblin arrows as well.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the other adventurers cleared this place of the goblins and kobolds. At least that is what I assume.
Yeah, but they're gone. Aren't they supposed to eventually come back?
Yeah.
Or the things stay dead? I don't. But then what if they're the named ones always come back, or if they don't too? Like I'm kind of like scratching like my chin and looking up like confused.
Adgar is looking at you kind of confused too, and he says,
Because I'm talking about like this is like not the world.
He just says, "Is there some kind of problem? I thought that's what you adventurers did. You cleared out the rabble and the monsters and the general clutter."
Well, yes, but they also generally came back. There was issues, of course, with goblins. They seem never-ending.
Well, that is common knowledge that they repopulate extremely quickly. You cannot cut them down enough before another one rises back in their layers. Been this way since I was young.
Yes, it's just strange that they haven't repopulated just yet. They're not coming back quite as fast as we're used to.
But maybe they're hiding off in their layers somewhere. Maybe fleeing from you adventure types. It is strange that we haven't seen any on the road. I have heard your lot so loves to travel. And I would have thought I would have seen many by now.
Yes, ever since things started changing, many adventurers have stayed behind. They're being perhaps cautious, but foolish in my mind. They didn't seize this chance like the rest of us here.
Well, I'm not an expert on these things, so I will defer to you and agree that this is strange. Is it anything that we need to be worried about, or is it simply a conundrum?
Nothing to be worried about, I believe. Simply something that is unusual.
Well, we can find out if the people in town know anything about it.
Yes, we can ask around when we get back.
Suits me.
All right. So you go on for a few more hours. Still, you, as the sun comes out, you see more neutral monsters, or not monsters, neutral creatures, I should say, coming out. Some deer and squirrels and stuff. But they seem particularly skittish. They're really, as far as you can tell, there hasn't been much in the way of activity going on until a few hours later you get past the ruins, or not the ruins are everywhere, but you get past that section of the ruins and you start seeing again more some more of the low-level monster mobs just, you know, going about their life off in the distance, you know, munching on the grass and everything. You know, since it's a low-level area, from what you remember from the game at least, they're not the creatures that immediately aggro onto you. So that's not a concern.
Like the yellow names instead of red names.
Yeah. But you do finally reach a crest of a hill and you can see the semi-floating city of Big Apple with its waterfalls trailing off the sides into the vast watery depths underneath it as it hovers slightly above just a giant collection of floating rocks above the what seems to be sunken ocean or raised land. You can't really be sure, connected by the bridge.
Home sweet home.
sorry, I'm getting into the music. But you can tell that it's only going to be a few more hours now. Adgar seems very, very taken aback by the scene. He just stares at it for a while, and the maids kind of peek through the cart, and the little one, the one who is sitting next to you, Araki, just kind of is like, wow. And after that moment of wonder passes through them, they continue the carts on, and the more or less silent journey continues until you start finally getting up closer and closer to the gate. You see a single, what looks to be, I don't know, a guard. You don't really... There weren't very many guard NPCs. But there is one... There is a gatehouse above or just in front of the bridge, and it seems manned. You don't remember it being manned when you left, but it is manned now.
Does it look like a people of the land or an adventure?
Looks like a... Well, give me a analyze. Definitely a person of the land.
Well, that's new.
It is new.
That's just what I say in character. I don't really elaborate further.
You get up, you start to approach the bridge, and to be honest, when you see this guy, he looks like, you know, 17, 18-year-old kid, just sitting in a sitting kind of in like one of those guard boxes, right, that has a little roof over it, and he's just kind of like kind of slumped over, half asleep, just, you know, slumping over his what looks like relatively cheap leather armor, and just a little sword that he is kind of just like leaning over. And just looks kind of tired. Just a regular looking blonde haired kid. But you see him kind of shuffle, and as he looks in your direction, and his eyes kind of squint as he and he stares at you in the distance as you approach for a second, and then he shoots up, and he stands up, and he's just waiting for you guys to get closer. do you make contact with him in any way?
I mean, if we're pretty far away, I'll wait till we're closer as well. And then as
Alright.
we get close, I'll just.
You're within shouting distance.
I'm not gonna shout.
Alright. He, on the other hand, does. He shouts, who goes there?
I just kind of look at him and then look at myself and over to my companion, Araki, who I assume is visible.
Are you visible? You're not hiding? You're not taking the hide action, are you? Because these would be useful things to know.
I'm not hiding.
Okay.
If that's what you're asking. I wasn't sure if you're asking about Araki. Since I just asked
Is Araki hiding inside the cart? No one's hiding. Oh no, did we lose Araki? We can't hear you if you're talking. Ah, well. I guess we temporarily lost him. Okay, well, anyway. We'll say Araki just looks over at you and shrugs.
It's been so long. What did we call ourselves again? Did we have, the Band of the Wriggling Worm, I think?
Oh gosh.
I think that was it.
Yes, it was.
Gosh, that's such a weird name.
You picked it.
I did not pick it. They picked it. I was outvoted. It was 2-1. I couldn't do anything.
We're the Band of the Wriggling Worm, returning from our quest.
The what? Are you adventurers?
I'm just going to continue forward. I'm not going to yell.
You see him. He just watches you. Partly, there's a very obvious look of surprise on his face, even from this distance. But there's also the obvious, this is probably the only thing this guy's had to do all day look on his face. So, you get closer and you get within, raised voice distance, I'll say. Not quite shouting, but, across the room distance, right? And he just asks again, "Are y'all adventurers?"
Yes, we are with the Band of the Wriggling Worm, returning from our quest. We escorted some villagers to their farm out west, and now we're returning as escorts to these.
He just looks and he just says, "Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, y'all were the group of adventurers that wandered off, and everyone else is just kind of sitting around. You look alive."
Well, of course. There was never any doubt.
Well, well, I guess that's to Gold pieces I'm not getting back.
To bet against us, how foolish can you be?
Well, you know, the odds were kind of 20 to 1. Eh, anyway, are who are? I guess if all of y'all are adventurers, you can go right on in. Just you know, don't make any trouble and whatnot.
Sarah Lynn pokes her head out the window. It's like, hey, what are you two talking about?
You see the guard. He looks at you, and you for a second you just see his eyes go wide, and then he just looks away. Maybuzz, give me a quick analyze or perception.
Analyze or perception?
Yeah, I don't really care which.
Well.
Seven. It's good enough. Oh, 2 1s, man.
Yeah.
Is there something caught in this guy's throat? You're not exactly sure. Since it was double ones, dramatic fails don't exist, but come on, man.
Right.
Something seems to have upset this guy when he saw Serloon, and he just looks away, and he's just like, and he's just kind of like stuttering. But
what a strange fellow. I just move on.
all right. You start approaching towards the gate, and the cart starts moving on and towards the gate, and everyone go ahead and give me a perception.
Where's a Rocky at?
Yeah, I'm gonna message him real quick.
I hear him.
Sorry. The chair.
What? You were
Was the
assaulted
chair.
by the chair?
Yes. Oh, sorry about that.
Who won?
Me. Oh no, chair one.
I was gonna say.
Must have been pretty close.
It sounds like it was pretty close.
Ow, shit, Nick. There we go. I attack. I Jitsu strike the first thing in front of me.
Oh, okay.
No, just kidding.
We are getting perception rolls. As you are approaching the Broken Land Bridge. Okay.
This land looks pretty broken, I say. I exclaim. No, I was kidding.
Well, it is. It's very ruinous. All of you notice this. It's a very... What happens is very, very flashy. On either side of the bridge, you see a sudden blue swirling what looks to be a portal start to open up. There's 2 of them. And what you see something big step through. Two very, very big figures. Let me. Not it. You see, did it show up? It did.
Oh boy.
They're standing on the bridge, on either side of the bridge. Each of them has a long axe, and they do the thing where they take the axe and they just cross them together, blocking the path. And they just stand there. They're big. They're about 9 feet tall. You can think of a Space Marine from 40K, right? Like 9 foot tall, like is as thick as a truck, and all armor. They've got a slight blue tinge. They've got slightly glowing eyes behind their helmet, so that they don't even look human. They look kind of like, I don't know, maybe some golem-like construct. Give me knowledge rolls.
Where's my sheet? Oh, behind the thing. Exactly. Oh, exactly. 1 in 6.
All of you know what these are. These are Royal Guard. They are, you remember from the game, these are the things that pop up when you break a law in town, or when you try to initiate PvP in a non-PvP area. What they'll do is they will either they grab you and they'll teleport you into a prison, and if you try to fight them, they just kill you. As far as everyone knows, no one has ever been able to fight a Royal Guard. And Maybuzz, you remember reading an article online somewhere from a time before you started playing, where some people formed a 20-man raid group against one of these guys, and they were still all wiped out.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them standing in front of you. Maybuzz, you also know that give me another knowledge roll, Maybuzz. Yeah, you also know that when they were in the game, in major player towns such as this, if someone got into a fight in the low level area and they ran back into town, and the monsters were still aggroed onto them, what would happen is they would do basically a nothing personnel kid teleport behind the monster and obliterate it.
Oh.
And then just disappear. And you vaguely remember that where you're standing about right now is where you remember that line, that border line was. They are standing just standing on the bridge, blocking your path. Serloon and Maybuzz, you notice that... No, Araki and Maybuzz. You notice they pretty much don't even see you. They're staring straight at Adgar. Um, the kid that's standing there, you see him actually jump back, and he's like, What's going on?" And you see him like draw. He like very shakily pulls out his sword, and he's like shaking it, pointing it, just waving it back and forth, looking at everyone like, what's going on? He immediately seems to think you're doing something very wrong, because he seems to know exactly who these guys are.
Yeah. I kind of slow down. I think our guest may be triggering the local guards.
He
Oh, do they need like permission?
uh the guy at the gate, he's just like, what? Why? What's going on? Why? Adventures don't set that off. Only monsters set that off.
Well, yes, our guests may be triggering the unfortunate guards.
He he's like, guess, like, what do you mean guess? And he looks back at the cart in the back, and he's like, oh, what are you carrying back there?
Are they looking at? Who are they looking at?
They're looking at the covered cart that has been where Araki and the maids were.
Oh, where they're at. Okay.
To him, all he sees is a wagon that's covered.
Yes. We were escorting some guests. I'll go to the door and kind of open it and lean in real fast, looking at the Son of the Lord. It seems we've run into a bit of an issue.
He says, "Oh,
Yes, the town is guarded by some quite ferocious golems. They, or wait, would they be considered golems? Royal guards. They look like golems.
it's when you look at them and you pull up their profile, it's kind of strange. They're labeled as they're labeled as construct, but they're also labeled as lander. And they're also labeled as like human as well. And but like normally in friendly areas, at least, that you would see like a health bar, but for the royal guard, it's always just question marks. Like your identification level is never seems to be high enough. Like people would comment that even when they were max level, if some guy even one made like a troll character that was nothing but points and stats into identification, see if he could crack the royal guard, it was still question marks.
Hacks.
Very much hacks.
Very much hacks. And they haven't moved at all.
Yeah, I'll consider them golems. So yeah, the guards of the city, these golems, appear to have been alerted to your presence.
He says, golems? Oh, that sounds fascinating. And he starts stepping out of the carriage.
I wouldn't get too close.
They are quite interesting, but they are, unfortunately, quite deadly to those of your nature.
Just his.
He steps out and he takes a step towards the he takes a step forward and he's like, wow, are these really golems? They're humongous.
Can I open my console?
Yes, what are you trying to do?
I want to see if there's some permission thingy.
Ah, yeah. Good call.
Give me a operate.
Oh gosh. Actually, this might not be too bad.
Oh, you're flipping through the menus and flipping through the menus, and the only thing that you see is the toggle open PvP. And that's turned, or it's
Like-
not turned off. It's completely grayed out. You press the button, and it doesn't do anything. You don't see any monster to friendly button. You do see something that says tamer interactions, but that's grayed out for you too.
Oh.
You need like a UE to pull out this info.
The guy in the gate, the boy with the sword, sees him stepping out, and he just holds his sword out, doing the shaking. This guy doesn't really know how to use a sword. He's just it's just a safety stick keeping in between him and bad things. He sees Adgar step out of the carriage, and you just hear him say, "Vampire!" And Adgar just lifts his hands up, and he just says, "Oh, now, is that any way to greet a guest?"
They're not really keen on manners. I feel bad because this did not occur to me
Yeah.
at all. I
mean-
don't know why, but it didn't.
I mean, I assumed if they were just entering peaceably.
Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense.
He's the guy, the kid, Araki. You're not quite sure where this is coming from, but as you're watching the kid, you just see terrible stance, and you see his knees quaking, not very Bushido, and this kid isn't a fighter. Why was he on the gate? And you trail back your thoughts, and you're like, Wait a second, where's this coming from? Am I becoming samurai? But the kid looks at you, Mabas, and at you, Araki, and Saralune, you're still in the in the carriage, correct?
Oh, I would have stepped out as soon as he stepped out, probably.
Okay, so you're standing beside Adgar, and Emma is staying in the carriage. The kid looks at you while he's holding Adgar at sword point, and he says, "Don't come any closer. If you step any closer," he's just muttering, and he looks over his shoulder at the golems, and he looks at you guys, and he says, "Well, you guys are adventurers, right? Why aren't you like slaying him?"
Well, he hasn't done anything.
Hasn't done anything. He's a monster.
How can you tell?
He he just says, he just says, everyone knows the difference between humans and monsters, and that is a monster.
But he looks like a person to me.
But he's not.
How do you know?
He's just looking at you, just confused, and he says, "Because he's a monster." And he's looking at you like, "Are you okay?" Kind
I'm
of
gonna
look.
scratch my head. It's like, I don't understand.
Mabas and Araki, you can give me a what kind of roll would this be?
Got something with this.
Give me a knowledge roll.
11.
11, that's pretty good. Araki, I'll give it to you. Maybe. You're not real sure, but you remember hearing your buddies talking about a way they would, that you could abuse tags or something, and that things have tags. There's the only thing you really remember from that is that there's the neutral creatures, there's NPCs, and there's monsters, and you would always find it really weird how NPCs would just always know everything is a monster and start running away from it, and that always kind of bugged you, and like that's kind of weird. And how like hunters would like hunter NPCs or would that they would go through their hunting animation and stuff, around neutral creatures. But if a monster was nearby, they would automatically be like in their battle thing, and they would be like going through their voice lines like, you won't get me, kind of stuff. Even if even if like he's staring at a tree, and there's like a goblin on the other side of the tree. You remember that weird game stuff. Maybe that's what's going on here. God, who knows? Maybe he just knows that what vampires look like, or maybe he opened up the menu and saw he had the undead tag, or knows he has the undead tag.
So I'm going to kind of just have my hand on my like sword, not like attacky wise, but just being, cool. It's like, hey, you, what is your name? I say, like with my other hand pointing at him.
He says, "But Harry."
So, Harry, you see you happen upon a monster, and yet you see us not reacting to it as well. Say, if this was a monster and we were in danger, what would you do? Could you save us? Would you fight the monster?
He just kind of looks, and he's like, well, as long as I don't go past this line.
I'm going to walk slowly up to him, and then like big beaming smile, put a hand on my shoulder. It's like, you see, things are not always as they seem. What you may see as a monster is just something that you've been led to believe. You cannot just be ruled by your tags alone. You're your own person. Big beaming smile as I have a hand on his
Give me a
shoulder.
negotiation roll.
Let's just break the system real quick.
Oh, I'm like making no sense to him whatsoever.
He's like, I hadn't, well, hadn't thought about it. Monsters have always been monsters, but you don't seem scared.
And why would be scared? This quote unquote monster is great company.
Yeah, listen to this guy, the Adgar says. And he just Harry, the guard, kind of just looks over your shoulder and he says, "Oh, I mean, I guess I've seen scarier things."
Exactly. So there's no need to be taggist. You decide with your own heart, not just with your eyes. That is the true way to become your own person.
All right, let me do a quick
Believe
roll
it.
here.
Sorry.
Believe it, yes.
I'm just kidding with that. I don't say believe it, but you get kind of the attitude I'm going with. When in
Oh,
doubt.
that's a lot better than I thought it would be. Okay. He kind of lowers his sword and he says, I guess I have heard of like adventurers going on monster capturing quests and taming things. But never a vampire.
The world is a strange and wonderful place where all kinds of experiences could happen.
He looks at you and he says, I don't really know what's going on here, but you guys just stay right here and I'll be back." And
Alright.
and he just ducks under the guards and he just starts like jogging down the bridge until you see him disappear into the city.
he mentioned taming. How does that work?
Anyone who would like to know that can give me a knowledge roll.
I'm gonna try, because I know that that's possible, and that might help us with the
Good
solution.
rolls, guys.
Oh
Gosh.
God. Okay.
I assume I know about it.
Yeah, you would. You do have a pet.
Saraloon, would you want to roll?
I mean, I guess I will since I was checking through my console and found a thing on it, but other than that, like,
Yeah, Saraloon, you know there's the taming console. You vaguely you vaguely heard of taming subclass. You don't know how it works. You don't know how it works. Maybuzz. Well, we'll get to Araki first. Araki, you know that there's a lot of people, like high, your buddies, like raid friends, raid buddies. A lot of them have the trainer class, just because LOL, I can tame a raid boss dragon and have a mini raid boss dragon walking around as a pet.
Following you.
That's pretty cool.
Of course, you know that it like minimizes, right? So it, like if you did end up taming a dragon, it would just kind of be like turn into like a baby wormling or something like that. You know that's how it kind of works, and they don't really have any combat
Right.
use. You remember they can be trained to do tricks, because you remember thinking it was really cute that that this like this were pig that someone tamed would go and fetch for you, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of I never thought I would think a hairy pig would be cute, but that's kind of adorable. Maybuzz, you remember, because it's real big you're real big into the role playing side. You wanted to tame a banshee, and God, you wanted to tame an NPC banshee so bad, and you realized that would end up locking you out of other things, and you spent plenty of time doing research on how taming works. So, and you more or less know what you do is you take the taming subclass, and you go out, and you have to buy these like baits and kibbles and stuff, and then you've got to like, if it's a hostile monster, you've got to fight it to like a certain HP threshold, and then use these bait items on it until it's kind of like in a swooning state, right? And then you've got to like, you have to have a taming flute, and you have to go through the process of learning, certain creatures' taming songs, right? Like this goes back into tags, like you have to know the construct song, or whatever, and then there's a chant that and then it kind of works similar to like WoW in gaining a pet, like from then on, where you have to get the creature passive in some kind of way, and then you have to tame it. And then after you tame it, it'll start following you around, and that even though they aren't combat oriented, that you do know there were a few select pets that would do something like give you extra bag space, or before a fight could enchant your weapon to do like extra poison damage or something. So it's out there, but those were like considered fringe, hard to get elite pets.
Yeah.
So that's what you know. You can relay as much of that to Saralone as you would like.
I'll mention it later. Now is not the time.
Okay. Well, now would be a good time for a short break.
Eat your food.
Okay. So, you're sitting there, waiting for this kid to get back. Harry. What do you do? Adgar is, he's just, staring at the golems, and, he's just like, these don't seem like they're much for conversation.
No, unfortunately not.
Who made them?
Programmers. With a capital P. I say it with a capital P. Programmers.
Yes.
Can I meet these programmers?
I would love to as well, because I have choice words for them, but I don't think they're so easy to meet.
Are they like
I guess they would the old
secret
gods? Or the
secret
ones who
society?
the
The
ones
old
who
gods.
write the ones the ones who write this who authored this world? Hey, I don't know. One of you guys help me out here, I say.
Yes. I wouldn't know who to speak to. I never learned their names. Plus, at this point, I don't know if they joined us in
the
here.
ancient languages. C, C++.
Yes.
Uh,
Or did they do it in Unreal Engine?
Yes.
Graphics are way better.
he's just looking at you, kind of lost, and he says, "I don't know much of the gods. You say they created these things? They must really be a terrible force."
Oh, they're terrible, alright.
Well, I will do my best not to get on these golems' bad side.
Is there any way you would be keen to, say, perhaps, how am I gonna put this? I say looking, I kind of just say looking like sort of at a loss for words. Becoming a, companion to our group?
He kind of tilts his head and he says, "Are we not already companions?"
We are, but in the sense of the way this world is authored, we are not. And I wonder if that is the reason that we're having troubles with you continuing forward.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm willing to try it.
You hear that, guys? He's willing to try it. How does one train
How you spend a get ticket?
Send a party invite?
Can we party invite him? That's a way. Would that work? Or do we turn him into Chibi Dracula?
He's like, there's going to be a party.
Oh my god.
In a sense.
Well, that would be a warm welcome.
I attempt to send a party invite.
You do the thing where you think you would go to send the party invite, right? And there's not an option for him at all.
I didn't think so.
I mean that there's a kick from party and it has a Rocky and Sarah, and since you were the one who formed the party, I think.
I
I think
you were,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, you're the one that formed the party, so like you can kick a Rocky and Sailorloon out, but there doesn't seem to be any party option for anyone nearby.
Are you did it work or did it work? I don't think it's working.
I attempt to do it as a command. Open up the type console and then type in
Oh yeah.
/p invite.
P invite, add car,
Yes.
Congreldia.
Yes.
You get you get pending, and then you see user offline.
Okay.
Oh yes. Figured as much. Well, the only other option is how does one say it? Would he be a
What?
chibi? Would that also apply to the maids as well?
He looks at you and he says, I'm where's the party? I do not see the party.
We're working on it.
It
I'm
does
gonna
not
like... Go ahead. Sorry.
It does not appear it will allow us to add someone who's not an adventurer to our party.
Guys, I'm gonna like kind of just whisper to our specific, player only. Guys, I think we have to tame him.
Oh boy.
Well, if we want to go that route,
Does anyone have any brandy?
one of us will need the tamer class. So
Pull out the sapper you gave me.
Adgar looks and he says, "So, adventurers like to have parties amongst themselves, exclusively.
Yes.
That's truly a shame. I also wished to have parties with you adventurers, but if you keep to your own, that's understandable. I'm sure there are plenty of others who would wish to partake in partying with me. Perhaps I'll find other adventurers who would change their mind." The maid, the head maid gets out of the back of the cart and she just she says, "Master, if we are going to be here for a while, would you like would you and your guests like refreshments?" And Adgar looks towards all of you and he says, "Exactly how long do you think this procedure will take? From your experience?"
Well, unfortunately, vampires have never been allowed in before. So, truly not sure at this point. Briefly switching to Party Whisper,
Oh yeah.
Party Chat. If we would like to do the taming route, then one of us will need to get the taming subclass. I unfortunately will not be getting it myself, but would one of you like to try?
He would be stuck outside the city, right? I assume, if we didn't do this.
David, you also, or Mabas, you know that there is a quest line involved to getting the training class.
Yeah.
So it would probably be a minute.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd mentioned that. Right now, I'm just seeing if either of them are willing.
Not really, I say. But otherwise, he's stuck outside town, correct? That's what I'm trying to assume.
That's what I believe. Yes.
We'll just have to bring the party to him. I feel bad now. We led him all this way.
As all of you are discussing this amongst yourself, Adgar turns to his maid and he says, let's hold off for now. However, make yourselves comfortable. It seems we are doing something historic. And he just gives a sly smile. Do you have anything else to discuss amongst yourselves?
We have to tell him that he's stuck out here.
Yeah.
Unless he risks certain death. Well, no, not certain. Like, immediate death.
Yeah. We'll have to let him know.
Unless we can glitch him. And I'm not familiar with those ways.
I never looked into those.
Can't we turn him into an item? Or the moment we take him out of his pocket, then the glitch comes through?
I don't believe that's possible.
We can't manipulate the tags, can we? Is that some high level programming hacking that I'm not familiar with?
Yeah, I don't believe
Elite
that's...
hacks that I've been told.
Those elite hackers. Yes. Switching out of party chat and talking to him. Unfortunately, we're not aware of a way to get you past the guards, and to attempt to try to get in would surely risk their retribution. We fear this may have been a wasted trip, but if you'd like to try, I would not stop you.
Well, he says, leaning as he leans against the carriage, I'm already here, and I got nowhere else to be, and I can wait a long time. Perhaps when the boy gets back, he will have news for us.
Perhaps,
Oh,
yes.
yes. Harry.
To be honest, I was a bit surprised how lacking the security seemed to be here. I would have expected more guards, but if there are golem constructs created by the gods defending the place, then I can see why it would not be necessary. As he says, like, just walking over right to the edge of Maba's where you know you remember the line is.
I just watch to see what happens. I'm intrigued. I want to see.
He stops like inches from where you think it is, and he's basically like 5 feet away from the golems, right? And he's just like staring at them. And he's like, very curious. And they're totally silent.
Yes, they don't react as far as I can tell.
Well, as curious as I am to grab a stick and prod them, I am not a child. And then he just keeps staring at them.
Give him the stick. Don't give him the stick.
Don't give him the stick.
Whoa.
You eventually you see so 2 or no, you see 3 people walking over the bridge. You can tell one of them is Harry, and the other one is a middle-aged, or not middle-aged man, that delicate balance between middle-aged and elderly, with some faded gray hairs, but still a stiff build. And he is in plate mail, and the other one seems to be in a shorter person. Well, no. Yeah, slightly shorter person. About the size of Harry. I guess you could say average size person. And they seem to be in faded blue robes. And you see there's a book in his hand, and he's just flipping through it and looking to the guy in plate mail, and he's just like shrugging, and like he seems to be saying something, and you hear, I don't know. That's about all. He raises his voice, and that's all you really hear. I could try. It's never been done. These Harry says, "Oh, yeah, that's them." And he says, pointing, and he says, that one's the vampire." And the guy says, "Yes, son, I have eyes." I know a monster when I see one. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And then he kind of like gives a stiff bow. The guy in the plate mail, starts walking towards you, and you notice, or you see the royal guards finally move for the first time since they got here, and you see them pull their giant battle axes, or pole axes, I should say, up to let them pass, to let him pass, and then they immediately close back as he passes. And he says, or at first he doesn't say anything. He just stands right at the line. And oh, this man, by the way, is a what's the name of the races? Thank God I made this. He seems to be a wolf vang. He's got the characteristic hair on his face, although it's graying, and he just looks kind of. He's got some wolf-like features, and his eyes are like a dull yellow. But he walks up to the line, and he's... By the way, his armor looks pretty immaculate. It seems to be well polished. It's a flat gray steel, but it's got some gold highlights around the trim. It seems Iraqi. You get the feeling that it's very functional, but it's very practical, but with a bit of flair on it. That the role playing or study, your interest in like samurai culture leads you to believe that this is a man of station. And the way that Harry is deferring to him also seems to give you that impression. The guy in the robes with the book is still... He kind of glances up at the vampire for a second, and he's just like, huh. He just kind of goes, huh, and then he looks back down to his book, and then is flipping through it again, as if it's like, that's not all. Oh, hey, it's a vampire. I don't really care. The guy comes up and he says, "Greetings, adventurers. I am Thralgar, leader of the guard."
Hail, Throgar. I am Iraqi, and these are Mabas and Sirloon. We are adventurers, and we were asking if you could grant us passage to our special companions. They are rather unorthodox, but they are, I don't want to say tame, they are rather pleasant and just wish to conduct trade in town.
Adgar walks over and he just smiles and he says, "Hello, I am Adgar von Greldia. It is a pleasure to make an acquaintance of someone so esteemed as the head of the guard of the fabled City of Adventures. And he just holds his hand out.
I smile like, see? Kind of like one of those looks.
Uh, the guard just looks at him and he says, "You know, this is a very strange request, even for adventurers. You want us to bring a monster into the city."
Well, not a monster. Several monsters.
Right.
I mentioned the mates too.
Well,
Uh,
I'm sure just allowing them inside alone wouldn't be too bad. And if they were to cause any trouble, and then at that time, the guards can be called, can they not?
he give me a negotiation roll, Mabus.
I am terrible at this. That's why I've been leaving it to other people. We'll see.
The uh he looks at you and he just scratches his the hair on the side of his face that's so characteristic of Wolfang's, and he says, "This is true. Tell me, vampire, what purpose do you have? What is your purpose for coming into our city?" And
If he says to party, I'm gonna lose it.
Or
Sorry.
if he talks about cannabis.
Yes.
He just smiles and he says, "This is the fabled City of Adventures. I come to enlist their aid."
See, a quest giver. Surely you cannot deny him entry.
Thrallgar just looks at you and just holds his hand up for you to be quiet. And he just expects you to obey him.
I do
as
so with a reluctant face.
as he's got the demeanor of someone who is listened to and expects orders to be or his word to be obeyed. He's one of those people.
Yeah,
And
I'm not gonna start shit with him.
and he just says, "What task could you possibly have for the adventures of this city?" And he says, "Oh, that's pretty simple. Kind of want them to kill my father."
Thumbs up from me. I don't say a word, but I just give a thumbs up. Like, huh? Huh?
He just raises his eyebrow, and there's just a really long silence, and as Thrallgar just stares at him. And then he turns to the guy in the robe and he says, "Can it even be done, Shu?" And the guy in the robes looks up and he says, "Well, honestly, I'm not real sure. I don't know if this has ever been done, I guess, but I I th- I think so. It's not unprecedented for uh, for creatures to roam into the city unnoticed. So
Saga must have
perhaps
heard.
Unnoticed. I look around.
we perhaps um if we if I concentrate enough, I can, I don't know. Uh, I think I can figure something out. Uh, he nods. Thrallgar nods. If you guys want, you can give me a perception roll.
Can I give you all of the rolls?
What? I'm too busy thumbing up.
Mabos, you notice, you're the only one that notices, but when the guy in the robes talks, you see the distinct markings of a half-alv, on his tongue, which you know is the only way to distinguish a half-alv from a human is the tattoos on their tongues that distinguish them. Or rather, they're not tattoos, but they look like tattoos, but they're born with them. But it's the mark on their tongues. You know, realize that this is a half-alv. From the lore that you know of, half-alves are relatively rare NPCs.
Okay.
That half-alves are more or less mistrusted a little bit because the alves, you know, were at one point there was in the lore there was some kind of war in between the human races and the elves, and half-elf spawn are still kind of supposedly treated with skepticism. But you also know they're the only ones that can manipulate elven technology.
Okay.
But yeah, you notice this. The guy in the blue robes is a half-elf. He's got long black hair that's tied into a ponytail. And he's got a subtle Asian appearance to him. And he's got relatively thick eyebrows. But yeah, he just has this tome, and he's flipping through it, and he says, "Sir, I've never done this before, but if you give me the word, I'll try. If you really think it's a good idea to be letting a monster in town, then I'll do what I can. He, Throgar looks up and he says, "These are strange times. The adventurers have stopped venturing. They have started acting strangely, and trade has grinded to a halt." Harry is just like is now alone with you guys, and he's been quiet the whole time, and he's just like, "Oh, well, okay,
Good job, Harry. For getting the guard and stuff.
oh, you know, all in a day's work and stuff."
Real progressive thinking of you. You should be proud for not being taggist.
Wow.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Hashtag not all monsters.
Hashtag?
Just ignore that. I said that was something I was thinking in my mind, but the character said out loud. Or in his mind, what he said out loud.
If you say so. Well, don't do anything funny, Mr. Vampire, sir. Edgar just says, I'll be on my, best behavior, I promise. And he just smiles and winks at him. And
That does not soothe him at all.
it does not soothe him at all. And he just, like, kind of looks at him really worried. And
Vampire terrorizes red light district. Would be a headline.
Well, I guess you're free to pass. Just, you know, don't break any laws and, you know, all that business. Oh, and, maybe, stay away from that, let me see.
Shit.
He says, "Oh, and stay away from that gum stuff. It's really spreading around, you adventurers, and it's stay away from it."
What? What is it?
You guys, I hear you guys call it gum.
Oh. Wait, really?
I'm unsure what you're talking about. Gum?
Gum? You know, the stuff you chew on?
Yeah, they chew it. Just just stay away from it. Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
Is this a drug?
He just says, "Well, yeah. It popped up not long ago, and making a lot of you adventurers even weirder." No offense. I'm really glad for everything that you adventurers do and all, you know, or that you did. You're not doing now. But, you know, I really looked up to you guys. I'm gonna stop talking.
Well,
What
what
a
else
weird little
needs to
person.
be done?
What did you say? I didn't catch you.
Serlin's asking what else needs to be done.
Nothing. You can just walk across.
Well, no. Someone need help? Like, what's needed to be done?
Oh, well, I guess you are adventurers. So maybe you guys can help, but some people have been going missing. Uh,
In town?
yeah.
Well, that's odd.
Yeah, there's a couple of missing posters. You'll see it. You'll see it on the bulletin board as soon as you get in town.
We are on the case. We just gotta find those posters.
We are. I just got here.
Hey,
Fine.
it's in town. It's not like we're going anywhere right now, right away.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking that there's actually a kid that's been going around all day today asking if anyone's seen his mom. Oh well, I'm sure you'll see the posters. Hard to miss them. I mean, uh, it's it was posted on the the adventure board, and what it's there for is to get your guys' attention. Even though you guys are ignoring it.
It's got my attention.
This is the first we've heard about it.
Although we did just get back, so.
How could we have ignored it?
Let's go hit the inn. Gather our
Like,
things.
Rocky's just like, I'm kind of tired, guys.
Yeah.
Adgar says,
I want
"Ah,
something other than turnip beer.
an inn."
Yes. For which our group's namesake was derived.
Exactly.
The Wriggling Worm.
Sounds like a fascinating place. Tell me, are there any beauties?
Hopefully, we'll see.
Oh boy.
He just says, "Lead on." To the lead on, and he says, "Does this mean I am going to be allowed access into your adventuring parties?"
Perhaps. In the more literal sense.
I was about to tell him what a real party was, then you said that, and I just went quiet. It's like, hoping I'm about to speak, and then nope.
And he just smiles and follows behind you as you I assume you start making your way across the long Brokenland Bridge.
Yep.
Okay. So he gets in the carriage, or actually he doesn't get in the carriage. He's walking outside of the carriage, taking in the sights. What about the rest of you? As you are going across the bridge.
I'll continue to ride my steed until we get into town, and then I'll just unsummon it.
I'm so psyched to be back. Where we don't have to sleep like outside or near cars or some shit. It's kind of nice. So I'm walking like I'm tired, but I have newfound energy.
So you're walking like beside the carriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're going slow, I'll walk. If we're going
Yeah,
a little
it's
fast,
a
I'll get
relatively slow walk. He's doing the whole tourist walk thing where he's
Oh,
like
okay.
looking over the bridge and like slowly,
I
just
need to stretch
taking.
my legs a
He
little.
he's taking in the crystalline tower, from the distance. It's right around the day, part of the day where some light starts to shine on it, and it causes some rainbow-esque sparkles. Later in the day, it's gonna be a full aurora light show, and that's gonna blow his mind.
Yeah. There's still no trade or anything here. Oh, something I want to bring up. Meba's Sir Loon. Do we announce that we're back? It's been a while. They probably think us long dead.
Well, as soon as we probably just, you know, moving into the town, I'm sure that we'll be noticed by some people.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be noticed by some people.
Or they'll have completely forgot about us. It's one of those.
There's no middle ground with you, is there?
I mean, I guess they.
That was totally non-committal. I loved it. Well, yeah, they'll remember us. Oh, they'll have completely forgotten us. One of those things. It's like, wow, that.
Nice.
I did one of those blank anime faces. There's really no. That was very non-committal of you.
Blank Saitama face.
Yes, thank you. You read my mind. I was gonna say those exact words.
I mean, surely someone will remember us.
Hey, it's those assholes that didn't die.
Yeah.
Well, you actually see Araki as you're walking in front of the carriage. There's one lone figure walking towards you. It's a very long bridge.
Mhm.
So you can barely see him from the distance, but he's getting closer and closer, and he's just walking. He's not staring at you.
Anything that makes him stand out, maybe familiar, like some kind of armor, or is he wearing robes?
He is wearing some kind of light armor. Give me a knowledge roll.
All right. Pull up the sheet. I know things. Or something.
This guy looks. You think this guy looks familiar? You think he looks really, really familiar? What? What? You could swear it's on the tip of your tongue. Do you know this guy? It's like light armor. What you do notice though is the armor that he is wearing. Let me. Or he's not wearing armor per se. It's like light armor, but it's like the traditional Japanese samurai robes.
Yeah.
Not their armor, but the robes they would wear. That's what he's wearing. And he's just kind of lazily walking out of the and you do see there are two blades or sheaths sticking out from either side of his hip. Oh, or no, let's go with two blades on one side in the classic Japanese two sword thing.
Daisho or
Yeah,
whatever.
the daisho sticking out of his belt, or his obi, as he's walking towards you, and you do see this. This is what the guy looks like, and he's just walking towards you, not paying you any attention. You notice you noticed the glow coming off of the scabbards, though, of the swords, as enchanted. From 11, from a knowledge of 11, I will give you that you know that it is high tier. Way more impressive than anything you've gotten your hands on.
Yeah.
Your friend would probably know exactly what this is because it looks like something you'd get out of a late game raid dungeon, right? Same with everything else he's wearing from top to bottom.
Looks like the welcoming party's coming, I say hesitantly.
Do you stop?
He's heading towards us, right?
Right.
I'll just keep going towards him, I guess. I will raise a hand, like stoically, like hail, kind of. Not like halt, but like hail. Fellow adventurer. As if we're equals.
All right. Well, he just keeps walking towards you. His pace hasn't changed. He is kind of slumped over though, like he's I don't know, like
I'm trying to I can picture it, but I can't put it into words.
yeah, he's just kind of like he's grumpy, I guess. He's got like the grumpy slumped over shoulders. He's just walking with his hands in his pockets. He's walking closer and closer to you. He hasn't changed, deviation, or
Or
anything.
acknowledged, like,
Hasn't
my hand.
acknowledged you either.
Okay, so I'm just gonna mention to the others, kind of, how rude. He's not returning my salute back. Then again, I don't think we ever had an adventurer's salute. We need to work on that.
The adventurer's salute, yes.
Yeah. Like, hail, fellow adventurer. We don't have that. We never established that. That needs to happen.
The secret handshake with like 50 different steps.
As you're talking like this, he's right there, still walking. He walks, and he just walks straight in a straight line, and you're standing right there, and he just kind of walks into you and just like shoulder checks you.
What the hell?
And
I'll stop with that.
He stops for a second and turns and looks at you up and down for a second, and he just goes, "Chh," and then he just turns and keeps walking.
I pause for a moment, and I smile, because I'm used to this treatment. Like in center of town, in the game normally, when I talk about like trying to tank, or look if anyone's looking for tank or some shit. So I smile because something familiar from the game finally happened. I got snubbed. Oh.
Now he's just walking past you guys, past the other cart, off into the
Good for him.
wilderness.
He's going to go grind or some shit. Solo grind. That's what I'm assuming.
Maybuzz, you might know who this guy is. You can give me a knowledge roll, but
It shoulder checks me, but I'm not gonna say shit.
yeah, you pretty much have the same feeling as Araki had. You could swear you know that guy, or you've seen that guy around, maybe around town.
But nothing specific.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those nagging things in the back of your mind, like, I should know this.
Right.
You get you specifically get the feeling like that was someone that was probably important or well known. Um, like you could swear, that guy was like, um, Will Smith or something like when you pass him, but you don't, uh, but you didn't realize it was Will Smith until later because you were like, yeah, I mean that guy, I swear I've seen him somewhere, and then you're like, it's Will Smith from the Will Smith movies. God, I should have, it's kind of that feeling. You have a feeling like you're gonna, an hour later from now, you're gonna be like, I know exactly who that guy was, but right now you don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Other than that, the bridge is completely empty. And you get across the bridge, and you see, you know, um, you see it's pretty much like what you saw when you left. There is the bulletin board that was there. You guys didn't bother to check it before you left. Because you were on
Yeah,
a
we
quest
already
and
had a
busy.
quest.
But it's practically empty now. It looks like a I guess you could say derelict. Um, the papers that were on there for the quests are kind of like falling off, as if it hasn't been attended, except for uh four. There's four sketches of different people, and there's a fifth one. There's a fifth one that's down in the lower right corner that looks like a kid drawing, and it says, all of the four posters say, missing, and it says missing, 500 gold reward, or 200 gold reward, or 350 gold reward. And then at the bottom, the little kid drawing is just like a sketch of a round face with a red crayon marker for hair, and it says missing mom, 1 gold reward.
Shit.
Any
We have to
information?
take that one.
Well, god damn it! I need that gold.
And you do get some attention as you walk into the gate. It's not as much as you would expect, because there aren't a lot of people hanging around the bridge. There's just some people that are, slumped over on the sides of the street, just looking up at. They look up at you, and their eyes just go kind of wide, and they're just like pointing at you guys and whispering, like pointing at you guys.
That's our cue.
There are a few other people though. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'm going to also try to hide at this point. Starting to notice the crowd getting wild, or not getting wild, but more people starting to notice.
Okay.
I'm going to get uncomfortable and try to hide. But
Oh shit, that's totally the opposite of what I was about to do. But you can hide, but I will be speaking.
Sarah Loon, do you want to also give me a perception roll?
Yes.
So I'm just gonna fade out of existence.
Not how you get famous.
Oh, dang it. I accidentally clicked a link.
Okay, so yeah, your phantom, uh, everyone in the party, you actually see this. What it looks like is like a ghostly, just I guess it would be kind of look similar to a Dementor, we'll say, just like a being made out of shadow, just uh like almost crawls out of Maybuzz's shadow, and just like wraps its arms around Maybuzz, and he just like fades away. You guys can still see him as like a kind of transparent person, but he's kind of transparent now.
And I will be walking to the sides, like try to stay out of the way of anyone that would try to jostle them or get in their way, accidentally or not.
Okay, all of you notice this. You notice, there's about 8 or 9 people just kind of slumped around, adventurers specifically slumped around, not doing anything. Just doing, the classic, I guess, hobo thing. There's a few guys Slav squatting. Just looking in general, looking destitute, but it's kind of odd because they look destitute, but a lot of them look like they're in really fancy, high-priced clothes and armor. But there are a few people that are just kind of leaning against the walls that they look like, I don't know, they might be asleep or dead, or I don't know. One of them, you swear, just has his eyes open and his eyes rolled back, and there's just drool coming out of his mouth. Araki, we will go to game 2, real quick.
Secrets.
Oh.
All right, Araki. You do notice there is a lady sitting on a bench, that you could swear you've seen before.
Oh, let me scroll.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. You see this lady, just sitting on a bench. She is a foxtail, and she just sees you walk into the town and just smiles, but doesn't say anything. You get the feeling you've seen this woman before.
I'm trying to remember.
Go ahead if you want to. You can give me a a knowledge roll. We will say that's good enough. You vaguely remember seeing this lady before you left town and talking to her. And
I kind of just like close to my face, I give a smile and a thumbs up.
Let me... Okay, well, you got lucky. I rolled a dice to see exactly how much you would remember, and I rolled well. So, what you do remember about this woman is you did talk to her before you left, and she seemed to know... You remember being slightly weirded out by her because she seemed to know exactly where you were going and what you were doing.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But we did somewhat deviate from course, so because she knew we were going to like trifle
mhm.
on a quest, but she doesn't know what we came back in tow with. For
Yeah.
all she knows, we returned from our big turnip adventure. At least that's how
She
I'm thinking it.
she does um she looks like she's been zoned out the entire time, but as soon as you like give her a thumbs up, it seems like she was looking off into the distance past you, but then she kind of focuses on you and just kind of tilts her head, and you see her little fox ears kind of twitch, and she just smiles at you, but doesn't say anything. Um, that's about it.
All right. I'm back. Okay.
Um. Oh, and they, to be clear, they weren't invisible. They weren't stealth. They were just another,
Wait.
someone who
Oh.
particularly caught your attention. Um, but
It was
yeah,
Pete.
but yeah, that's what's going on. You see some people muttering and noticing you. It doesn't seem like there's a large crowd gathering, not like last time when you left. It seems to be later in the afternoon. And it also seems like people aren't hanging around the bridge like they were when you left, so um, you're not sure how big of a crowd is going to notice you. You're not sure if it's going to be a real big pomp and circumstance thing.
Well, we have been gone a while. We did deviate. It was supposed to be turn ups and turn around.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm exhausted after that quest. I don't know about you guys, but I'd sure like to take a load off at the inn, huh? I say kind of just in general to Sir Loon and in Invisa Mabus.
Invisibius.
Invisibus.
Invisibus.
Uh, Emma. Oh, by the way, Mabuz, as soon as you cross the threshold to the bridge, you hear your horse kind of neigh and give. You know that as the indication of it's about it's about to despawn.
Oh yeah, I would have
Because
expected for sure.
because summons aren't allowed in town,
Yeah.
even mounts. Um, Emma gets out of the is walking with you now, and she says, well, thank you guys. Thanks for everything. I'm going to uh, head on my own way now.
Well, hey, you gotta spend some time in town with us. You gotta see people, right?
Mhm.
You
She
can't just go off on your own all the time.
she just looks at you and she says, no, I think I'm gonna go. I have a guild hall to clean up and stuff. I'll
Where is your?
uh, she just points in the direction of the guild hall.
But it's in town, right? Is it in this town or is it somewhere else?
No, it's in town. You know the guild hall is a big building next to the. Wait, maybe not next to. It might be the crystalline tower. Let me see. It is. Yeah, you know that big building made out of crystal that you can see everywhere in the city?
Yes.
That's the guild hall.
Neat.
Okay.
And she just points towards that. And she just says, "Well, I'm gonna go now, unless you're going to try to kidnap me or something."
Well, why don't we just help you?
Like clean my guild hall?
I mean, it's better than one person doing it by themselves. I mean, they may want to get some rest, but I can at least help.
She looks towards Maybuzz, and and Araki, and Adgar, and the rest of the maids, and she just says, she just looks at you weird, and she asks, "You guys want to clean my guild hall?" Or you guys want to go do chores?
I don't say anything.
I mean, maybe after I kick back a little bit, yeah. I wouldn't mind. Just gotta wash all this turnip out of my mouth. I just say that like, it's like a loud mumble.
Um, she looks at Maybuzz, and she doesn't say anything to Maybuzz, but she does kind of frown when she looks at you. And then she looks to Adgar and she says, "You don't want to do chores, do you?" And uh, he actually starts to open. He smiles and starts to open his mouth to say something, but one of his maids walks up and she stops whatever he was gonna say, and she says, "The master does not do chores." And he just kind of looks at her and closes his mouth. You can kind of see there's a small frown.
Uh, that gives me an idea to kind of make it more friendly and yet screw over the maids and get some help for ourselves. Yes, the master doesn't do chores, but and then I look at him. I was like, but master, may you lend out the maids who do chores for a living?
Uh,
And then I
he
slowly turn and smile at the maid.
he he looks at them and he says,
Hmm. Oh shit! Did I lose?
"Oh,
Oh, I lost connection. Sorry.
uh, yeah." He looks at them and he says, "Well, I can't force them to do uh, anything they don't wish to, despite what they keep claiming. They are no longer in my employ."
Eh. Okay. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't have been much help anyway. I'm probably a better sweeper than they are. Seeing if that works. I just insulted.
The little one just kind of does the thing where she grabs her eye and sticks her tongue out and goes, "Nyeh." And and one of them starts to say something. What the heck? Oh, okay, that's the music from the game. I was like, what? It's just sudden bright tune at the end just caught me off guard.
Just
Like,
for the little bit at the end there.
Oh, of Rocky, and then like we end the show.
Then we end. That's where it ends.
That's so stupid.
With the circle closing in around
Yeah.
you smiling. Oh,
That's so
God.
stupid. You just made yourself cringe because I did too.
Well, oh, for some reason that was my chat was not scrolling. Oops. Well, they really don't say anything. They just say the head maid just says we will follow the master wherever he chooses to go.
Oh, she's good at the cop out too. Damn, I have invested.
He says though, perhaps it would be best if we did not leave you on your own. Surely one of you, he says to the maids, could accompany her for a while. And he kind of nods towards them. And let me pull up the page for the maids. And
Ooh, this is some sexy sweeping music.
I know, right? The dark brown-headed one, Belladonna, steps forward and just bows, and she says, "Of course, Master, I would be happy to." And then the purple-haired one also, if you guys need remembering. There it is.
Yeah, that's right.
She steps forward and grabs the hems of her maid outfit, and she just she says, yeah, yes, of course. If the lady would have us." And Emma just kind of looks annoyed, really, but she says, "Okay, I guess follow me." And then she just starts walking off, and the two maids start following behind her. Serloon, do you follow her as well? Okay. Adgar looks at the rest of you and he says, well, I guess that just leaves us. To the inn?
To the inn.
Okay. We will go to Serloon real fast. She leads you to the Crystalline Tower. This has not been the first time you've been in here, because you've been around and you explored a little. And who isn't going to explore the giant building made out of crystal? Right. But it's the first time you've been in it, right? And it's huge. It towers over you more than anything that you have experienced, right?
Mhm.
The glass crystalline structure of it, when you get close to it, is even more strange and otherworldly as you walk up to it. You know what this building is. You know it's the Chrysler building. But the way that it seems like this living crystal has encompassed it almost in this snow globe-esque manner is just kind of both haunting and also very beautiful. You step inside it, and it looks like something you would see out of, I don't know. I want to say like a James Bond villain movie where it's just like plush velvet everywhere and gold and everything. That's what the lobby is like, and there's like couches and stuff, and you just see just the place is packed full of people just laying around everywhere inside the building. The beautiful demeanor of it is kind of like it looks like you're in a beautiful building after, like, let's say a hurricane or something where there's just people holding up in the building. There are people behind the counters, but they seem tired and frankly jaded as you walk in, and they don't even bother to greet you. They just look at you and you walk over to them, then you walk over to them, but they honestly don't expect you to. You get the feeling that since whatever's happened, people are just squatting in here. Emma looks around and kind of bites her lip, and she says, she walks over to the elevator, right? And she says, "Okay, guy, okay." And the dark-haired maid, she actually has to step over someone's legs as she walks over, and frankly, she looks disgusted. She has a disgusted look on her face, and she says, "It's strange to see such splendor reduced to such squalor."
Everyone's just, having a rough time right now. Don't worry, everyone will get better. Just take some time.
The purple-haired maid just says, "Yeah, I'm sure everything will work out fine for them. They just look really tired." Emma, you hear the ding of an elevator, and you see the elevator open up, and Emma steps inside. I assume you follow after her and step inside.
Yes.
The maids step inside too, but they look kind of intrigued because when it closes, the elevator closes, you see a display, or not a display, but like where the elevator button is, the buttons are, you see, when you look at it, you see a menu pop up, and in your, in front of your face where your UI would be. And basically what you see is the guild hall options and menus, and and you see it shows that that you and Emma are in a party, and you see that she's a guild leader, and you see her put her eyes moving like she's looking at something in the air as well. And then you see her push the single elevator button, or rather, the single floor button. Like that, instead of there being different floors and stuff, there's just a single button, but with the other buttons like open and close door and emergency and all of that there. But it's just one button.
It's the guild hall button, basically.
Yeah, it's the go to button, pretty much. And you see that she has that she's going to the. You see on the elevator that you're going to Guild Hall of Kawaii Desu, and you hear the elevator start moving. It just goes, oof. And then you hear elevator music, just elevator music, and it's there's windows on the elevator. It seems like you're going up the elevator, and you can see Big Apple beneath you. You can see the Rind where the market is, and you can see the Big Apple apple fountain and the bridge that you came across, and the ruins that surround the city. And then you see the Badlands, because only a small portion of Big Apple is actually settled, right? The rest is like the same kind of overgrown building place, that backdrop that you're used to. Only that it's not inhabited by monsters. It's just kind of background scenery. But it looks very beautiful as you just rise up and up, and you just get this wide view of the city. One thing you do notice, though, is it seems like a portion in the city, you see a whole bunch of tents, with people milling around the tents. You don't really remember that, but you didn't spend too much time in the game before then, but you do notice it as kind of strange. You kind of imagine it's if you have been there, you don't remember going there, or it might be new. Just ramshackle tents and stuff. Just far, kind of on the border between where it meets ruins and city. Anyway, the elevator dings up, and you see a bright pink door as the elevator doors open up, just like a wooden kind of, I guess, arched doorway with double doors. The door is bright pink, and it's got like gold trim around it. It looks like something that would be out in a Disney princess movie instead of an actual door. But Emma kind of says, well, we're here, I guess. And then she opens the door. And when she opens the door, what you see is it's kind of what you expected, or maybe not quite what you expected. It's everything seems like it's covered in felt of some kind of fur, and it's got a very thick light pink carpet. It's not neon pink, it's just like a pale pink. There's like there's stuffed animals twice the size of you just scattered all over the room. There are couches all over the place filled with pillows, so many pillows that you don't even know if there's a spot to sit down. And all of them have like cute little chibi faces on them. There's a fireplace too, and over the fireplace you see Emma's character and about 4 others like standing next to each other doing different emotes. And there's a subtle like flowery scent in the room. In the back there is a big window with a deck. Deck. Is it a deck? The thing where you can a balcony. That's what it is. There's a small little balcony with some little pink chairs and a little table. And in the center of the room, there's this little round table with what looks to be an immaculate little tea set, like something you would see in a castle. And there's a hallway that has different doors down it. And Emma just kind of goes over to one of the couches and she just like jumps onto the couch. And you see pillows just fly all over.
It seems like you put a lot of work into this place.
She just turns over and she says, yeah, we did.
You have great friends. Well, I guess we should start cleaning.
Belladonna just says, it's a very interesting aesthetic for a people's renowned as warriors. But that's all she says. She walks into the room and looks as if she feels out of place in the room. On the other hand, the purple-haired girl is going around to all of the stuffed animals and just like being like, oh, it's so cute. And then she goes over to one and she grabs it and picks it up and she says, oh, is this a quillboar? And Emma just says, huh? Oh yeah, it's a quillboar. But it doesn't look like a quillboar that you remember, right? It looks like the shape of a quillboar, but it's like blue, and and its nose is like purple.
Yeah, it's a more colorful version of one.
Yeah. But yeah, Emma's just laying on the couch and she just says, "All right, well, I guess we can start cleaning, I guess. And she just leans over and starts grabbing some pillows and setting them on the couch. Go ahead and give me a analyze roll. All right. It doesn't actually seem that messy in here. It seems like everything is where it was kind of supposed to be. So you're not really sure what to do. And Emma just looks around after setting the pillows up, and she says, I guess move some of the stuffed animals off of the couches.
How long has this place been here since you last checked it?
At the guild hall?
Well, just yes, your guild, the building.
Well, this is where I logged in at, so I guess it's been here the whole time.
Well, seems pretty clean. Did you clean it up last time you were here, or was it just?
Well, didn't really need to clean it before. It didn't really, get dirty, being in a computer.
Right. I didn't know if someone had come by already, or if it was just. Anyways, we could play some board games.
She just says, huh? Okay. I guess, sure. I mean, we might have some. And then she just goes around and she starts looking around. Belladonna notices the tea set, and she asks if you'd like her to make tea, and Emma is just kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever. And she goes off into another room, looking around for something to do. She still seems like she might just like fall asleep at any second, but she's still trying to be active. Now we will take a pause from that though.
Right.
And go on to the rest of you guys.
Yes.
So you and Adgar and Araki and the other 3 maids, I believe, are making your way to the
Yeah.
Wriggling Worm Tavern, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Home.
Okay. Well,
Home spawn point.
did you build a bed and sleep in it so you know that you'll respawn?
God.
Yes. The 3 other maids, they actually say, Amalia, the head maid, the one who always seems like her eyes are closed, even though you sometimes wonder how she walks around like that. She she says to Adgar that they'll split off and explore around the city for him, and you know, basically recon for him. And Lenora, the little one, who you notice Araki is still kind of like hanging around pretty close to you. Will stay behind with you guys if Adgar needs anything. And so the other two maids kind of just go off on their own. They split off. The four of you make your way to the Wriggling Worm Tavern. It's a lot like how you remember the walk before. As you were walking to the tavern, there's just people hanging around on the side of the street. Only every now and then you see one or two that seem to be just they're sitting there, but they're not home. It's a little concerning. It almost like it makes you wonder if they're sick or something, because they look sick. And it seems like when you get up to the Wriggling Worm, it looks like you remember it. Only you hear a lot of noise coming from inside.
Oh shit.
It's just loudness.
Stealthily step in.
Stealthily step in. Okay.
Lively.
What about you, Araki? Or
I will...
who's going in first, rather?
I can go in first. You know, the whole put two hands on the door and push it open.
And I'll just slip in after him.
All right. Before you go in, you told Adgar you're there, right, Mabos? Or because you don't know if he can see you. I'm actually going to roll for that. Go ahead and.
Yeah, I don't think I would have said anything. I'm trying to think about it, and I don't think I would have in character.
I don't think so.
All right, then give me an athletics roll. Wait, it's a perception versus athletics. Give me an athletics roll. Okay. As far as you can tell, he doesn't really know that you're there. And before you step in, Araki, and he says, "Is Mabos not going to be joining us? I haven't seen him since we left."
Oh. I'm sure he's around somewhere. I wink in a particular direction that Mabus is at. It's like obviously stupid wink.
He looks at you and he says, "That's a shame. There was something I wanted to reward him, a relic of my house."
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be around to accept that from you. I wink again in his particular direction.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, something in my eye. I wink again in his direction.
You hear the little maid giggle beside you, and she says, "You know, you're really cute."
Thanks. Like, sweat drop, scratch the back of my head. Deal.
And she, well, you step through, And when you step inside, the thing that catches your attention first is the smell. It smells of tavern and food, and it's
Aw,
great.
I
It
know it's
smells
fake,
great.
but I don't care. Let me have this moment. I know it's gonna taste like nothing, but let me have this moment.
But the other thing you notice is the atmosphere. You've never been to a medieval tavern, right? I mean, you've been to a few bars after work,
Yeah.
and it's kind of that atmosphere of, you know, going to a bar after work when the big game's on, everyone just, you know, talking and laughing and everything. You get that as soon as you walk in. There's just people at every table, and there's laughing and like clinkings of cups, and just adventures just in every inch of this place, and it is full.
My sanctuary. Why?
Yes, I have
And
the complete opposite. Like my eyes lit up, and I was like,
and
"This is just like in the novels."
and as soon as you walk through the door opens with the little bell like ting, and you see someone who looks very familiar. You see Marisha behind the counter. She's got two bowls of stew in her hand on a plate, and she's handing someone the bowl with one hand and using her other hand to pour someone a beer. And she says, uh, "Just find the spot. Be with you in a minute."
All right, but
Um,
looking good. I say, I said loud enough. Hopefully, she recognizes my voice. She's busy
she
though.
she stops for a second, uh, and she's she just stops as you walk in, and she says, uh, she says, uh, "Is that you?" It's like a Rocky.
Yeah, we're back.
Uh,
Wink.
she just like puts the bowls down, and she just smiles, and she just actually uh comes around from the other side of the bar, and she just runs up to you, and she just like uh basically jumps on you, giving you like a huge hug.
I'm glad things are doing well here.
Um, by the way, give me a perception check real quick.
Close the tower. Oh, it's so crowded in here. I can't see shit.
All right. Mabos, you can also give me a perception.
Oh god.
You can't deal with it either.
Mabos,
Concentrate.
you do you notice everything that Araki notices, only all of the adventures and everything, except you notice one extra detail that he doesn't, and that is all of the werecat uh all of the werecats. There's about 6, 7 female werecats in maid uniforms, going around with plates of food and putting them on the tables, and you hear a lot of "Here's your order, Nyan," and lots of giggling, and
Welcome.
and stuff. You know, that just really playing it up. That there's just cat girls everywhere, and uh like actual cat women of all different colors of fur and patch colors, and things like that, all in the most, you know, characteristic, or I guess stereotypical like maid cafe uniforms. Rocky, you don't immediately notice that because there is a jovial child, a jovial woman in the prime of her life, pressing her body against you.
Hi.
And she just says, yeah, we're packed thanks to you. What did you guys say? Ever since you guys left, I've been swamped. I've made more money in the last 3 days than I have in the last 2 years. And she just looks ecstatic.
Oh, we just gave this place a nod as we were heading out.
She just like pinches your cheeks and grabs them, and she just like kisses one of them.
Yes.
And she's
beloved heroes.
She just says, just like grabs you, and she's just like, sit down. Here, sit down somewhere. I'll get you something to eat.
All right. I sigh, but I'm not going to ruin her moment.
And she sits you down at a table. Of course she doesn't see Mabas, but she does see Adgar and the maid. And she sits them down, and as soon as you get to the table, you see this this werecat woman who has a very, very unique coloring to her. Mabas, you don't you spending a lot of time in the character creation, you don't think that the color of this werecat's fur is standard, right?
It's not legit. She did something special, like
yeah,
after
she
generation.
had to do something after character generation to get it. You see this woman approaching your table.
Ah, shit.
And she comes over to the table, and she just leans over and she says, by the way, she has a rapier at her side, and she just leans over and she says, "Oh, so you're the ones that made this place so popular."
Oh, this is wonderful. I'm just like kind of trying not to ignore her too much, but I'm soaking in this atmosphere. I've been to bars, but it's not been like famous.
Oh, and this one in particular actually isn't wearing a maid uniform. She is wearing like a bar wench uniform similar to Marisha's. And she just, you see her tail kind of lick, and she goes, "Hmm. Is there anything we can get you?"
I'm getting a plate. I'm trying to remember. Can I just have an extra bowl of stew? It's for my friend here. He's around here somewhere. Wink.
Hold
At this
on.
point, the
Uh,
noise isn't something to be alarmed about. I wasn't sure if we were going into a fight or something, and I have to show myself at some point. So I'll go
uh,
ahead and sit at the table and fade in.
I wonder the. Oh, okay. Before you do that, though, she, uh, she basically just looks, uh, uh, she, before you unstealth, she just looks at you and smiles, and she says, and she's like, well, and what about you? As you start, like a second before you start fading in.
Uh,
Very obviously seeing through your stealth.
right. I'll have just a special.
Coming right up, yeah. And she winks at you. And you see her strut off, very effeminately. And you hear her say, girls, someone come over here and get these three the special. And you see two or three of the werecats in maid uniforms run over and say, yes, mistress, as she walks into the back. Marisha comes out like a few minutes later, and she sits at the table with you, and Adgar just looks around and he says, are all of your establishments filled with such fine curiosities? He says as he looks at the one of the cat girls walking past. He's saying that to all of you.
Oh, okay. Uh, uh, I guess that's going to be the new normal now, and I'm okay with that. I say, smiling. I feel like drunk, but I'm like drunk on the energy in here, because
And
it's just like, San Fran.
Looking,
It's medieval. I'm back, baby.
yeah.
This is like
the
we went adventuring and now we're in a tavern. This is legit.
the uh, Marisha just sits at the table and she just looks at you, Mad Buzz, and she says, well, welcome back, cutie. And she winks at you. Um,
Thank you. I just slightly look uncomfortable with just the general amount of people. The exact opposite of Iraqi.
Yeah.
It's good you have a lot of business.
and I'm told it's thanks to, what was it? The Band of the Wriggling Worm?
Yes, we decided that this was such a fine place. We should spread the name through our group. We needed a group name, after all.
She just looks at you and as some werecats come over and put stew in front of you, and she said, as the purple cat lady comes and sits with you as well, And she, Marisha turns and she says, "Is everything running smooth, Duchess?" And Duchess just kind of gives like a very characteristic cat meow, and like meow, and she says, "Oh, I think my girls have it handled. You can you should take a load off. Talk with your friends." And Marisha just smiles and she says, introducing you. "Oh, this is Duchess. Um, her and her guild are uh, being nice enough to help around. I was a little, apprehensive hiring adventurers, uh, but so far I don't regret a thing. I think she leans over and she says, honestly, I think they might be one of the big reasons we're drawing in so much business."
Awesome. And it's good to see some of them working.
This is the most lively we've seen the others since the event.
Maybe we need a jobs program. I look at you in like a weird way, like just or something like that. It's just kind of like, am I discussing politics with you somehow?
Do we need to start a business finding people jobs?
Duchess folds her hands on the table as she looks at you and she says, "Yeah, yes, everything has been rather difficult since the catastrophe."
Please tell me that was a pun.
Yeah, she says catastrophe.
Oh my god.
Cool.
And she just leans over and she says, "Most people aren't taking it so well, yeah, but not all of us. A lot of us are learning to find our roles." There's even been talk about the big guilds getting together to cooking up something or another. Eh, I'm just a small little cat in a big pond, so I don't get to hear all the ins and outs of the big fish. But I hear things. It's all very exciting.
Glad to hear the larger guilds are finally doing something. Though, I wish more would have been done about those posters we saw coming in. Do you have any information on that, perhaps?
And posters?
The missing persons.
No. Missing persons. Honestly, hun, I've kind of been busy taking care of things here. I can only reach my paws out so far. She gives you a wink.
Right. Fair enough.
But I do know that it started happening just around after, I believe, when you lot left. You are the ones who went out there, right?
Even with how uncomfortable I am around all the people at this, my character will puff up. Yes, our party were the ones who ventured off to help those farmers in need reach their destination. And on our way back, we found some others who needed escort as well. We decided to show our great home, the Big Apple, to Mr. over here.
She just kind of looks at him, and the maid says, just kind of waves, and she says, "Hiya." And she, Duchess looks down and she says, well, aren't you cute? How'd they let you through the gate? I thought there was a barrier. Or how'd they let you into the city? I thought there was a barrier.
My friend, Rocky here, managed to convince the guards.
That's another one of those thumbs up, like on the Discord as well. Convinced me.
Yes. And they used some magic to allow on the guard golems to allow them through.
Oh. Really? Huh. Well, the world is full of wonders.
Yes, I wasn't sure it was going to be possible. I'm glad it was.
Adgar looks over and he says, "Ah, indeed. Now that I'm here surrounded by such fine company, I have to say, it was worth the trials and tribulations to get here." He grabs her at Duchess's hand and like kisses the back of it, and she just giggles and giggles, and she says, "Well, aren't you the charmer?" And she says, "Marisha, I like this one. Can we keep him?" And Marisha just like looks at Duchess really weird, and she's, she looks a little uncomfortable as when she like finally gets a good look at him, and she's just like, better you than me. Well, well, you guys, your offer still stands. If you ever need a room here, well, you know where I am, and you know where the doors are open. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a pot of stew that needs stirring. And Marisha gets up. And whenever she leaves, Duchess just smiles and she says, "Such a hard-working girl."
Yes.
Now what were we talking about again? Missing persons.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping you might be able to tell us more.
Well, I haven't gotten to the town square, or to the bulletin board myself, but some Some of the people coming in have said something about a boy that's been going around looking for his mother, and that a few people have, a few landers have been disappearing throughout the day over the last couple of days, and no one's been able to find them. With the way things are, I'm afraid that they're not gonna get much help in finding them.
Hmm. Well, that should be something that I feel like needs a little higher priority, so I suppose we'll have to look into it after we've had some time to rest.
Well, look at you! The heroes venturing out into the unknown, coming back to save the little town. You really are an interesting group of people.
Well, yes. And then, at that point, going away from the talk of the missing peoples, Mabes is just gonna kind of shut down a little bit, go back to just being uncomfortable with the environment.
What's his name? Adgar, he actually, says, "Oh yes, Mabes.
Yes.
Uh, I know that I apologized to you earlier for the conduct of my fellows, and such an esteemed maid, or such an esteemed magic practitioner as yourself is so well read and so refined. I really, it has still been nagging in the back of my mind. So, to finally alleviate any tensions that might be between our two noble houses, there was something I wanted to present you, if you would have it. It is a trinket, really, but it is the symbol of our house, and I no longer have need for such things as, you can probably tell. My father would not be too happy that I am here, and probably be disowned anyway. So I believe it should at least be of some go to some use.
Well, as you are offering, I will gladly accept. And, when the time comes, we can see about your father as well.
Yes, yes. But for now, that can wait. There seems to be so much to enjoy here, but I will present you your. I will present you your gift. You see him open up his robe, and he pulls out a shining scabbard, and holds it in both hands. And he holds it out to you.
Okay. If he's holding it out to me, then I will hold my hands out as well to grab on. Accept it like with both hands, not just one.
The scabbard itself almost seems like it's made out of some glassy crystal structure, just like this. And can you see the? Can you see it?
Yes,
Yes.
I can.
He hands that out to you. When you pick it up, you see the stats pop up on it, and you can read through them. You see the name of it is Eternal Rest, and you see that it is a unique short sword.
Ah, this is a beautiful artifact. I assume it kind of glows like this.
Oh yeah, it glows and it shimmers. Like as soon as you you touch it, it starts, or as soon as you put your hand on the hilt of it, it starts like shimmering in a faint green blue light. And
How
the,
extraordinary.
if you pull it out and look at the blade, it almost looks as if the blade is like it looks like as if it's like you know how light shines on stuff whenever it like hits waves and it just has that like shimmering light on it. That's what it looks like, just like it's going down the blade.
This is amazing. And then the 4d6 undead, I assume that means it does that extra damage against undead?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, he says yes. Before my family became what it is today, we were ironically in another profession. This was a relic from that time.
Men of hit.
I hope that this small token is enough. I'm sure you have other, much more intriguing relics in your palace, but
Yes, but those are out of my reach for the moment, and this can be useful until such a time as I can venture out that way.
One of these days we'll have to quest to return to your homeland. I'm like unknowingly calling you out on your bullshit. Like I believe wholeheartedly in everything about it.
Yes.
Duchess is just kind of like looking, just sitting at the table watching this, like with the hand like leaning on her hand, just like she's having fun just watching.
Well, this is a very good gift. I thank you most kindly. As I then go to attempt to equip it.
You do not have the appropriate tag to equip a one-handed sword.
That's what I figured, yeah. Tags one-handed, blade holy. I need...
You try to equip it, but it just doesn't seem like you're holding it, but the balance feels off and it just feels uncomfortable. And you try, if you try to swing it, it just feels wrong.
Oh, I'm not going to now.
Well, it is very late, so this would be a good place to call it if you guys would like.
I can't wait for you, Sir Loon, to see the Band of the Wriggling Worm. Yes. And be like, what the hell? Yes.
I am too young for this establishment.